Hey everyone, welcome back to Xaynew Stories. This is Relationship Thursdays.
Story number 1. Posted in our relationship, my friends don't want to be around my husband anymore. How do I handle this? Deleted user writes, my husband, 38M, and I, 32F, have been together for 9 years, married for 5. Recently, my mother-in-law was in town, so I reached out to my best friend to make plans. I suggested a game night at my house since I love games and trivia and thought it would be a fun group activity. She said she was down to hang out, but it would just be her, not her husband, and she wouldn't invite any friends. When I asked why, she was honest. She said her friends and husband don't feel comfortable around my husband. At her Friendsgiving, my husband apparently talked badly about her friends to her husband, and after we left, several people commented on how uncomfortable he made them and that they felt bad for me. One thing she mentioned stuck with me. At the party, I was basically asking my husband to play a game with me, which he refused, which wasn't surprising to me because he never plays games with me and thinks they're immature. But she said the way it came across to others felt awkward, like he couldn't do one small thing to make me happy and people were watching and uncomfortable. This was hard to hear because my husband is usually social and has a lot of friends. When we're around people who aren't his friends, he usually keeps to himself, so I didn't realize how it looked. My friend also said this isn't a one-time thing and that she noticed him talking over me or shutting me down over the years, but she didn't want to interfere. At home, if I disagree with him, things can shut down fast and it feels like this way or the highway. We've been in a couples counseling on and off and we're back in it now. I'm also in an individual therapy. I love my husband and it hurts that people in my life don't want to be around him. I don't know how to bring this up without him getting defensive or asking me not to see my friend anymore. An update to this story. Thank you all for the validating and thoughtful responses. I want to clarify that I do try to provide more detailed context when posting, but several of my longer attempts were flagged or removed, so I kept this version brief. I am in individual counseling and when I brought this situation up today, my therapist independently agreed with many of the points raised here. We also discussed boundaries I plan to communicate in upcoming couples counseling. I still struggle with doubting my own judgment, even with outside validation, but I truly appreciate the support. I'll respond to some specific questions in the comments later tonight, hoping this edit keeps the post available. Also, since it's been locked down, I can't communicate back. The game night I planned at my house would have been without him. I specifically made sure of that and took the opportunity since he would be doing his own thing. Either way, she didn't feel comfortable inviting her friends or her husband in the event. My mother-in-law is great and super go with the flow. Also, our house has a lot of space where she could stay in her own section if she wants to. Good on you, OP, for going to therapy and addressing a lot of the problems you have faced. Communication is really vital in a lot of marriages. And when there's a breakdown on one, it leads to a lot of the nasties that we see in relationships. But I do wish the best for you and your husband, OP. Story number 2. Posted in True Off My Chest. I am being blackmailed for cheating on my wife. Throwaway Reddit account Bad Blackmail writes, hi all, I need to get this out somewhere. A bit of background, so my wife is incredible, amazing, brilliant, and the love of my life. We're both 33, own a company together that does financial stuff. I'm keeping it vague to keep privacy. The company has been very successful. We aren't publicly in a relationship, we don't talk about our marriage or have a public social media where it discloses our relationship. All this is to say to the public eye, my wife and I are business partners, unmarried and with our own separate marriages. My wife goes by her middle name and maiden name for work, and by her legal name when dealing in personal matters. Say her name is Jane Mary Doe Fish. She goes by Jane Doe when not at work and Mary Fish at work. Now, full disclosure, I did not cheat on my wife. We were at a work function and kissed briefly when arriving, and apparently someone saw it. I woke up this morning to an email addressed to me, saying if I don't want my wife Jane Doe finding out I'm cheating on her with my business partner Mary Fish, then I am to pay them off with an amount that I won't be listing here. They included photos of me and Mary together, and then, this is the best part, sent a link to Jane's Facebook page where she doesn't post her own face anywhere. I am being blackmailed for cheating on my wife with my wife. I'm both amused and horrified. Thanks for listening, Reddit. You know, OP, you should go meet that person and prank them. Because I feel like this is one of your competitors and they are out to get you. At least you get to waste their time for a brief moment. Story number 3, posted in True Off My Chest. My father has been my biggest bully for 29 years. Tonight, he tried to punch me and I finally realized he was just a sad, weak old man. Responsible Court 795 writes, I'm a 21-year-old guy. I'm fit, sober, and I've spent my whole life walking on eggshells around my father. He fights with everyone, his brother, his friends, his coworker, and he has physically abused me in the past. It's not just the aggression, it's the neglect. In 29 years, we have never had a single one-on-one father-son conversation. Not once. Whenever I try to speak to him, even about normal everyday things, he shuts me down. He refused to make eye contact with me and is constantly avoidant. Because of this, I stopped seeing my father as a father a long time ago. To me, he is just a stranger I live with. Tonight, the power went out because the cat tripped over a wire. It was an accident. My father is currently very sick and physically weak. He has heart problems, diabetes, a high blood pressure, and is in very serious medical condition. But he went into a rage. He started screaming at my sister and me, demanding we go out at night to buy an extension cord. I tried to de-escalate. I told him to calm down. He got in my face, then tried to punch me. In the past, I would have cowered, but tonight, something switched. I didn't punch him back, but I pushed him away to protect myself. Because he is weak, he fell down. I expected to feel horror or guilt. Instead, I felt nothing. Actually, I felt good. I realized I wasn't scared of him anymore. I looked at him on the floor and asked, It's been so long since you've been like this. What kind of a father are you? He looked at me and said, So what? He told me to get the heck out of his house. My mom and sister told me to leave just to let things cool down. I walked out, but I eventually came back in to sleep because I have nowhere else to go. Now, he is hiding in his room, silent. I think he realized that the physical intimidation card he used for 29 years has finally expired. He knows I could hurt him if I want to, and he knows I saw him fall. I'm glad tonight happened. The monster in my head is gone. He's just a bitter landlord now. Edit, I live in Malaysia. In our culture, it is very common for unmarried children to live with their parents into their late 20s or 30s. It is not mooching, it is the family norm here. It is currently 39 Celsius here. The accident didn't cut power to the house. It just shorted out one single extension cord in the living room. We had lights, fans, and power everywhere else. My father wanted us to drive out at midnight to replace a $10 wire that could have easily waited until morning. His reaction of screaming and trying to punch me was about control, not electricity. Update. Thank you everyone. Reading these comments made me realize I'm not crazy and I'm not alone. Good on you for standing up, OP. I was in a situation like this a few years ago with my mother, and I realized, you know what? It's my life, and I choose how to live it. And after that, I've been following my passion doing this. So great job, OP.
If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. This is Xaynew Stories, and I'll see you on the next one.